Well, okay, I'm here, and Pokemon X, Pokemon Y, I got both of them. This is my review of them. It's like a little over 3 weeks after they came out. 3 weeks and 1 day since they came out, to be exact. And, now, I beat both of the games. And, well, this is just basically a review. So first, I want to talk about, the story campaign, original, whatever you go through. Now, Nintendo intended for this game, at least what I've read, to be a game that people could play that don't have, the time, all the time to put into a Pokemon game. They don't want to make it, like, it takes like weeks, even if you put full time into it, which a Pokemon game never has. But they wanted to make it for people that didn't have so much time to put into the games, and I really got that from it. At least for me, I made time for myself to put into the games, and I really wanted to sit down. You get a new Pokemon game, you play through it. I'm not one that has ever been into like wonder trading, breeding, different stuff like that. Online battling and stuff. I just kind of play through the game to begin with, and then I go through and do whatever else. And I search the region, and I get an HM slave, and I just go around and explore everywhere. But so first of all, I just wanted to conquer the game itself. The first one that I played was Y, and well, I felt that it played through a little too quick for my liking. I just kind of felt I beat it in like about 2 days, I think, because I got it. I played through it one night, played it the next day, and played it the next night. So about a day and a half, maybe 2 days, and I beat it. And I just kind of thought it was a little anticlimactic, at least from what I was looking for. Like I to use was the popular phrase ham or something. I went ham on the game. And I just kind of went through and beat everyone, because I thought, new Pokemon game, I was ready for it. And, like I said, I breezed through it. It wasn't difficult at all. I didn't lose a single battle. Not that I can remember that I have before. Maybe when I was a lot younger and, I wasn't as good as I am now. Like, I'm not saying I'm the best, but, I'm a lot better than I used to be. But, it was just kind of easy. And I didn't feel there was much of a challenge. The only challenge, like Tyler and I were just talking about, was finding the second gym in the side of the mountain. That had me wandering around for a little while. Yeah, the game just played through quickly. It was like bam. But it was good for what it is. I just kind of felt it was anticlimactic, but I can't be expecting too much out of the first 3DS game. For what it was amazing. The experience was just excellent. Yeah, it played through quickly, but still, it doesn't mean the game isn't, the bee's knees. The new Pokemon. Now, there are less than 70 new Pokemon, and a decent percentage of those I didn't want, like, at all. I wasn't gonna, I just didn't see the, attraction. For Y, I picked Fennekin. For X, I picked Froakie. And Fennekin eventually evolved into Delphox as one hell of a Pokemon. I take back everything bad that I said about Delphox. Delphox is amazing. And Froakie is just kind of boring to use. I don't know. Just for me, Froakie was boring. Frogadier, I still can't pronounce that. I suck at it. Frogadier and Greninja, they were just boring to use for me. I felt like I just kicked anyone's butt with Froakie, and I tried not to use him, but for some reason he was still like 5 levels higher than everyone else because of the EXP share, or experience share, or whatever you call it. It's just, I haven't tried Chespin yet, but I plan on eventually getting another copy of the game, because I just kind of want one more for Chespin, just kind of my do-whatever game. And the first 2 games ended up being my serious games, because I always have one serious, one non-serious, like Ruby, Sapphire, one that has all my kick-ass Pokemon, the other one I just use to trade over, or, whatever. But it turns out X and Y were both my serious games. So I plan on getting that one, trying out Chespin, and you know, we'll see what we have to see there. The fossil Pokemon, Tyrantrum, is just awesome. One of the coolest Pokemon I've ever played with. Fletchling is also pretty freaking neat. The birds are also, they always seem to come in handy, but he was pretty neat. He kicked a lot of butt for me, and it eventually got to the point where I would get to a new town, and going back to the difficulty of the game, I would get to a new town, and there would be maybe 1 or 2 new Pokemon and a ton of old ones. They had, well, each section of the map, you know, different areas that you were, had about 1 or 2 new Pokemon, and 5, 6 others, or something like that. There were about 1 or 2 new Pokemon per area, at least how I saw it to be. Sometimes 3. So I would try to catch one of the newer ones if I liked it, and then go through there, but I would always just end up whooping butt with them, and I don't know how. But it is kind of cool that you can go through a new town. You have like 2, 3 new Pokemon to pick from, take one of them, and then it becomes a little more challenging because they're at a lower level than the enemy's Pokemon, the other trainer's Pokemon, but still, it wasn't super difficult. The new Pokemon, nonetheless, they're not bad. They're not as bad as I thought. I've gotten used to them. I kind of expected myself to, you know, be a little skeptical at first, but eventually I got used to them. I still don't like Chestnut. I still don't like the design of him, but that's another story. I'll play with him, and then we'll see. The map itself was pretty neat. I kind of like how you came back to Lumia City a couple times throughout the game, and it kind of brought you back there a few times, and it was pretty big. I think the map was fairly big enough that I enjoyed it. The playthrough of the game, how am I trying to say this? The game played a little quickly, but the map was big enough. If the game would have slowed down a little, and you know there would have been a little more to it, I think the map would have been a lot more to explore than it felt like. If you know what I'm saying. Not many of the cities really. They didn't surprise me very much. They weren't like, oh wow, that's the coolest city. Some of them were cool and they were designed okay, but some of them were very, very just kind of basic. It didn't surprise me too much, but the graphics of the game itself, let's just get that out there, the best so far. You can't deny that. Your person has legs. I mean, he has legs. That's cool. And a signal and bench, it gives you a view of a whole town, entire town, or most of it. That's cool too. And just the towns themselves just felt kind of old school, like they would feel, which is cool how Pokemon isn't, you know, taking the game to areas that no one would really expect or like, but kind of keeping it true to the roots, which I love about Pokemon, and that's a good thing. Now, what else? A couple of the new things. Roller skates, those were cool. It took me a while to find out that if I moved my person around with the D-pad, it would take the roller skates off, so I was kind of iffy at first, like you can't take the roller skates off, but you can just move around without them. Just D-pad instead of the circle pad move thing, whatever it's called. I'm using all these technical terms here, as you can see. But the roller skates were neat, and how you could slide on the rails and stuff. That's new and neat, and that's a cool little thing they added. Pokemon Ami, that was neat. I still haven't, you know, explored that to the fullest extent. I have a couple of my Pokemon, like Noivern. I baby him a little bit, or a lot, because I like him. But it's okay. It's nothing that, you know, I'm like, wow, that's like the neatest thing ever. Like, oh boy. But it's cool, you know. It's a new little thing in the game, and the super training, I kind of feel the same way about it. It's like a little mini game in its own world. That's kind of neat. The Pokemon Me thing, the mini games in that, the puzzles were kind of neat. I like puzzles, so they were cool. But it's just a bunch of little mini games, I guess, the me and the super training. That's most of what it is, with a little, with its additional benefits and stuff, such as friendship stuff, stat enhancements, and things like that. What else is new? What else is new? What else is new that I'm trying to think of here? I knew there was one other thing. Lapras. That's pretty cool. When you surf on Lapras, it will actually show Lapras. That's the only Pokemon in the game that does it. That's cool. Riding on the Pokemon, I thought, like everyone else probably thought, it would be, you could ride Pokemon just kind of freelancing. But it's only area specific. Like Mamoswine or Rhyhorn going through certain parts. And then you can ride Skiddo around just like this little section, which it's just cool. That's probably the most area that you have to run around and everything with Skiddo. But Rhyhorn and Mamoswine are pretty much, they go their path, and that's what you use them for, to the cave and to a town. Weather in the certain areas, I thought that was cool. How one town was like, you know, snow and everything. Another area was like rain. Another area was like fall. The other areas were, I guess, summer. But that's you know, that's cool. I thought they still have the night and day thing. I don't think they're going to get rid of that since they've had it in silver and gold. They didn't bring the seasons back from black and white, black 2, white 2. I thought that was cool, the season thing, but that's cool what they have now. The gyms themselves go along with what I said about the story. They weren't very challenging to me. They could have been harder. That's what she said. But I don't know. They were what they were. The game is cool. The new graphics definitely captured me. Everything about the game is sweet. Yeah, it's kind of easy, but you know, it's still a Pokemon game. It's just, you know, it is a little bit easy. That's my only small gripe about it. Gripe. It's a weird word. But that's my only small complaint, gripe about it. It was just a little bit too easy, at least for myself. There is a lot of stuff to do, it seems, with Pokémon. There's breeding, super training, just exploring the map after you beat the Elite Four, like what I did, collecting the TMs, and items, stuff like that, all the rods, you know, yeah, rods. I'm not sure if he's laughing about that. But, you know, I got some rods, I got some balls, you know, that's what I like. But, yeah, I mean, there is stuff to do in this game. It does have more than just, it's more than just an easy game if you really put in the time to make it last, I would say. One other thing I wanted to say here, what am I trying to say? Team Flare, that's probably one of the last things I'll get on. I didn't feel threatened by them, like, at all. Lysandre, pretty sure that's how you pronounce his name, didn't seem like a bad guy. Compared to Getsus and Giovanni, they seem like real a-holes. Like, just jerks, meanie guys. But Lysandre just didn't seem mean to me. Team Flare just seemed like a bunch of goofy guys in weird costumes, like, you know, I know it's not going to be like super evil, it's Pokemon, but I didn't feel threatened by them. I didn't feel like he was such a bad guy, and, you know, you don't, one complaint I have about is kind of with Pokemon in general, I guess, I don't feel any intimacy between my character and, that's one thing I want to talk about, my character and the legendary. It's just kind of, you know, roaming around, go through the map, something happened, you know, yeah, at different parts, Team Flare was collecting this, they were stealing that, you know, yeah, that's happened before. And you get to a town, oh, something's happening somewhere, and you go to this lab, and then the Pokemon's just there. How the heck did Team Flare find it? I mean, you don't get that, it's just, they found the Pokemon, they just caught it, and you know, it's just there. Like, I feel there's no explanation of that, and then you just catch it from them. Like, I just feel that was way too simple, way too easy. There should have been so much more to that. That is a huge complaint of mine. Like, how do they get the legendary? How do they find it? You know? Like, you can't find the legendary first for once, or something like that. You know, it's always sort of someone else found it, at least in the last few games. Someone else found it, they're using it. Like, you can't find it or something and track it down. But I just felt like the relationship between my character and Team Flare was just kind of, they were there. Like, I didn't feel like they were bad guys. They were just goofy guys that were dressed oddly, and their leader wasn't that bad of a guy. And then there was Az. I think A-Z, or Az. I guess people call him Az. The tall guy. He was kind of a small little, played like a small part in the game, and you know, if he wasn't there, I felt that, you know, that wouldn't have been too big of a deal. Like, he didn't play as much of a role in the game as I thought he was going to play, or as he could have played.
Sound is different.
And
I don't remember him ever sounding
the whole
like
weapon thing, if you know, there's probably some spoilers in here if you haven't beaten the game, but I think most people have beaten the game. But I'm trying not to give too much away. But now, probably, I'll skip the weapon thing, but the last thing that I'm going to talk about is the trainer clothing, the customization. That was pretty cool. Yeah, there were a limited amount of clothes and stuff like that, but I hope they bring that back, because that was cool. One thing I hope they add, because it wasn't permanent, you could temporarily have, like, Ash's eye stuff under his eye, or Pokemon Pikachu cheeks, or whiskers, or something like that. And then you could have a mustache or something like that, but that was just temporary for some certain thing. You couldn't have that in the game. But as far as the hair cutting and the coloring and the clothing stuff goes, that was just cool. You could buy all that stuff and dress your character up, as much as that sounds like playing Barbie. It was cool. It's something that you felt that you had some control over in the game, some customization that was pretty friggin' sweet. And basically, I think the game is just excellent. Yeah, it's the first game, first Pokemon game, not including Mystery Dungeon, for the 3DS, and it was satisfactory, to say the least. The gripes that I would have for this game would be just about the same as many other games. It was a bit on the easy side, but that's not a huge deal. My complaint about Team Flare and the Legendary, now that I'm just kind of about that. There was no climax to it. There was no involvement in it. It was just kind of there, it happened, and, you know, it happened. I felt maybe in the next Pokemon game, they could make more of an involvement, maybe expand on the whole European thing, maybe do London instead of France. The whole map based off of France, that was pretty cool. You could see the French influences in the game and all that. And, graphics were cool. Customization was cool. I don't have many complaints that, you know, are new, relatively, or that are huge, aside of the Team Flare thing. But the game, overall, I would give it easily a 9.5 out of 10. You'll definitely enjoy this game. Yeah, I've heard people complaining before, oh, it's just another Pokemon game. It feels like a Pokemon game, plays like a Pokemon game. What are you expecting? You know, Pokemon stays true to its roots and has, you know, small things through each game, such as the customization in this game, clothing, some little things like that. They bring in new small things that may be a hit or may not be a hit. Like the whole day and night thing that came about in Gold and Silver, that could have just been Gold and Silver, but people enjoyed it, and Pokemon games evolve and include that, and it's definitely come a long way from Ruby and Sapphire. I'm not even going to say Red, Yellow, and Blue. From Ruby and Sapphire, from Diamond and Pearl. It's a pretty it's a fairly big leap between Black and White and their sequels. But 9.5 out of 10. Definitely recommend this game, and you know, if you have any complaints, leave them in the comments or whatever, and we can complain together. But I don't have many complaints. It's a fairly well-rounded game, pretty solid. Some of the new Pokemon are pretty awesome. Some of them are, I don't really use them. Like I didn't want to catch them, but you know, that's every Pokemon game. So next Pokemon game, bring back the customization, make some new Pokemon, new Mega Evolutions, more of an involvement in the story, a bit of a longer story, more involvement in the legendary and all that, and the bad guys. But you know, that's that. 9.5 out of 10.